Welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to work on the drive shafts and then pull in the transmission and fixing the issues in the transfer cases. Well, the engine's all back in, all back together. Got to clean up these couple wires, put the grill on, put some fluids in it, and plumb out the fuel cell so that it looks nice and ready to fire up again. Got the transmission and transfer cases out. This is a R150 trans with a gear reduction 228 comp spline, 23 spline setup from Marlin, and then an adapter to a Dana 300 with 4-to-1s and 32 spline outputs and a twin stick setup. So the issue I was having is there's a little guide pin here and that fell out, so I'm going to have to fix that. And then some of these bolts for the adapter, like this one's loose. The whole stud's loose, so I got to go through and double check all those and make sure everything is squared away so we can keep it tight. So I got the Dana 300 adapter set up off and everything cleaned up. These threads luckily look okay, which means we can just clean them all up. Yeah, threads look fine, so we can clean them all up and we can put some Loctite on them and rethread them in. It looks like this one might be bent, so we might have to replace that stud. It looks a little bent, but we can get all these squared away without having to re-drill and tap them, so that's a good thing. So we'll get this all fixed up and back together, and that way we can put the drivetrain back in the truck. So I got all these studs back in and Loctited and torqued down with double nuts. So I'm hoping that they don't move again. If they do, we're gonna have to figure something else out. The next issue I had was right here. You can see I staked it. So this is where the slide comes through for the Toyota shifter. So it comes through and sticks out the backside. Well, this sleeve somehow popped out and it jammed sideways. You probably won't be able to see it, but it's all scored up on the inside. So what I had done was get it back in and stake it. Well, that didn't last. Only issue is that's aluminum and this is steel, so I can't just weld it to it. That was my plan, but that's not gonna work, so I'm gonna have to get creative and figure something out. So I ended up staking this a couple of times. What that does is just kind of pushes a little material out. It did fall right in here. Now it doesn't. Now it's not wanting to go in, so I'll hammer it in and then I'll stake it around here again and hopefully it'll stay. I also drilled out the inside of it to clean up all the burrs. Alright, it did kind of wiggle in there. Now it seems really nice and tight. It doesn't seem like it wants to come out, so hopefully that will work. It's not a super integral part, but when I'm up on steep climbs, it would pour gear oil out of here, which we don't want. So let's get this thing back together and see if we can hopefully have no leaks. the whole transfer case all reassembled, ready to go back in the truck. So this is the front drive shaft. I keep blowing up flanges, kind of annoying, but the U-joints themselves are still good. So I just keep putting new flange on it, but this time I'm going to replace the U-joint and the flange as well, just to have a fresh one on, and then I'll keep this U-joint as a spare in the crawler. So let's get this swapped out real quick and get this back on the truck. Alright, new setup back together. Snap rings are in, so let's throw a little grease in it and try to go back in the truck. For the rear shaft, I just cut the weld and then slid it in about a 1/2 inch. With the more up travel that I gained with this new rear setup, I was bottoming it out right here. So now weld it back together and should be ready to go back in the truck. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more progress on this thing so we can get it on the truck.